So we've discussed what Monolith Soft's next big project could be multiple times on this channel, and it does seem, based off of a new rumor here, this could be huge for Monolith Soft and what is being rumored with this game, because it is Baten, Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean remake. Now, a couple years ago, Bandai Namco did re-trademark the Baten Kaitos IP. So there was a video that I made all the way back then where I talked about how this game has a chance of coming back. And now we have another big rumor that states that it's going to be here from this site. It's called Exputer, and I wanted to go into what they said and why this would be huge for Monolith Soft and what this means for the future of the company, and it's into other IPs that people have been wanting. So you're definitely going to want to stick through to the end, because we're going to discuss all of that. And there is a big development that's going on here with this game and why it affects so much if it does turn out to be true. Now let's go ahead and jump into it first here. So they say sources have confirmed that Bandai Namco and Monolith Soft are developing the game as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean, a timeless JRPG for the Nintendo GameCube, was initially released in 2003. Japanese developer Monolith Soft worked on the single-player action-adventure along with another studio called Tri Crescendo. Now, being the first game in the series, the title went on to receive tepid enthusiasm in its days, but it was still enough to allow a second rendition in the franchise, namely Baten Kaitos Origins, a prequel to Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean. Now, however, sources have confirmed that the first Baten Kaitos game is getting a remake exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. Exputer has seen graphical evidence of the title under development, but is unable to share any of it publicly at this moment in time. Now, sources have also said that the release date for this remake is planned to be sometime in the summer of 2023, and that a reveal is possible during this year's E3. Moreover, the remake is in the works by the game's original developer, Monolith Studio, a Nintendo-owned company right alongside Bandai Namco. Additionally, Nintendo is involved in the new remake and will work with the two developers to oversee the title's development. That said, it's still unknown the scale at which this remake will be developed. There's a level of uncertainty in the mix here, where the degree of Nintendo's involvement in the IP isn't fully known. It's yet to be declared whether the remake could be through and through full scale similar to Demon's Souls, or a little held back on that front. The sources can't confirm this detail at the present. In addition, there's a lightweight chance that the remake could be released as part of a bundle, where the collection would comprise both Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean and Baten Kaitos Origins, but don't hold your breath. It's worth mentioning that Bandai Namco filed trademarks for both games in the series, Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean and Baten Kaitos Origins, a little over 2 years ago. Although not confirmed, it's possible that the developers began work on the IP sometime before that. All in all, this news does come as a heartfelt surprise to the fans of the franchise, since several have been drooling over a new Baten Kaitos game for a considerable while now. And yeah, almost 20 years at this point when it comes down to it. Now, again, according to the non-publishable graphical proof of what certain insiders have shown us, this is something that is 100% happening. Come summertime, official Baten Kaitos news is going to surface sooner or later. So before I covered this in my live stream and kind of really went in depth in it, I just wanted to get people's opinions on this, because Baten Kaitos is a timeless card-based JRPG. You see your characters on screen, you have these cards, they rotate, you can make your decks, you can do stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a dope RPG, but it's one that definitely would feel a little bit dated in today's standards. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing for those who do like those old school PS2/6th generation GameCube RPGs, Skies of Arcadia, stuff like that. If you're into it, then you'll be fine. But if they wanted to remaster it or remake it in a way that'd be a little bit better in a modern sense, maybe do some new voice work and things like that, add some new features to it, I think that would be a great addition as well. We saw with The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, they did quite a bit of work to that game and it turned out really well for it. So I think that that same level of work could be applied here, and it could be a very well done remaster, or they can kind of go in the same vein as like a Demon's Souls or like a complete remake that we saw with Link's Awakening. I mean, there's all sorts of ways, and not with the art style guys, just with the game being complete remade of what it was originally on the Game Boy. So there's various different ways, or even they can kind of go in between, because there's all levels of remakes and remasters these days. They can go the Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII reunion route and kind of remake things or remaster things to the point to where it's kind of a little bit of both. So that is also on the table here. But this is what I wanted to talk about when it comes to this game and why it's so important. There are so many people out there, literally so many people out there, that would love to see Monolith Soft's older games get brought back. And if you ever want to see any of them probably brought back, or at least inspire the original publishers or Nintendo and the developers to be excited about bringing those back, if this game does drop, this has to do well. We know about Xenosaga. We know about Xenogears. We would love to see these games come back. And if Baten Kaitos, both of these games, or even just one of them comes back, and it's a good, high quality remaster, because I don't take some of the reviews that the games got back in that era super seriously, just because reviewers were kind of reviewing back then, and I say that in not a positive way, but they were doing their best at pulling the typical reviewer RPG stuff back then. So I don't really take it that way. If the game had a good score and I played it and I felt that it was dope, then I'm excited to see it come back if it can. But the thing about this is that if you want to see some of this other stuff come back, I think that this would need to do extremely well, and it need to be a great remaster of the game or a great remake. Now, they don't know the weight of it, right? They don't know if it's going to be something on the lower end scale of a remaster like we've seen before, like a Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, or if it's going to be something on the full scale of a Demon's Souls or something like that. We just don't know, or if it's anywhere in between. We have to wait and see on that. But regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter if it's just a remaster, a high quality one there like a Skyward Sword, or if it's a full-blown remake. It needs to do well with whatever they put into it. Obviously, a full remake would be more expensive naturally than having a game and kind of just remastering it, but they both would probably be pricey. They both wouldn't be super cheap, considering how old the game is, and also considering what you wanted to do to that game, what you're going to add, and how in-depth and big the game is. It wouldn't be just, okay, here you go, here's a port button and get it done. I think that these games are complex when it comes down to it, and you're going to want to change things up so it can sell better. So I feel that if this does happen, which I think that it has a good chance, considering those trademarks a while back, and considering that we've heard little murmurs and rumors of what's been going on, especially with Bandai Namco and them bringing back a classic franchise that they've worked on before. That was the rumor, not even rumor, that is the thing that we know from listings. When it comes to the job listings out there, we just know that's been out there. That's already been said. So this could easily be that game. It could easily be that game. Now that more information, now that we're getting into this year that started last year, and now we're getting into it, it could be it. Now, I did a little bit of digging around and talked to some people that maybe could give me some information, and they all weren't 100% clear, and I didn't get anyone that was saying, oh yeah, I've seen the footage that they're talking about, or I've seen the screenshots or the proof that they're talking about. But people did say that it's absolutely the possibility, and they've kind of heard some talk of that. So it's absolutely possible. But once again, it's a rumor at this point. It's not confirmed, so we can't sit here and say 100% it's happening. But I'll say this. As a mega Monolith Soft fan, as someone who truly loves the franchise with Baten Kaitos and the games and everything, this is a huge thing if it happens, and I think that there would be a lot riding on this when it comes down to it. If this game comes out and it blows it out of the water, right? Switch with a great install base, you get new fans, you get old recurring fans, it's a great remaster, great remake, whatever the case is, does well with reviews, we could finally see other companies like Square Enix and Bandai Namco themselves with Xenosaga and Xenogears and say, you know what, Baten Kaitos came out, they spent the money, they got it done, they got it with Monolith Soft, and all of a sudden things took off. Now, what I do know is that it does seem like they mentioned like what's Nintendo's involvement. Nintendo would have to be involved here because they own Monolith Soft. So no matter what Nintendo's involved, it would take all of them combined to get it done. But Nintendo owns Monolith Soft, so they're not going to be working on things or doing things without Nintendo saying, okay, yeah, no problem. Nintendo would be publishing this, but Bandai Namco owns the copyright or some of the copyright or part of it. So that's the thing with this. But this is huge. This could really break open the chest, the war chest that Monolith Soft has worked on if it does good. So to me, if it turns out to be real, this is one of the most important games that Monolith Soft has ever done. People have been wanting Xenosaga, people have been wanting Xenogears, but as we see those rising costs of Xenosaga and the rising cost of Xenogears and how it's just nothing's happened, this could be the shot in the arm that they all need to get some of that done, to see that there is an audience for these older Monolith Soft titles. So to me, this would be one of the biggest games in Monolith Soft's history for it to do well. So we can see some of the other stuff come over, and I'm really hoping that that is the case, that this does happen and we could get that announcement. Now, we really don't know about Nintendo's second half. What we do know is that we've seen some of the big games this year, right? We know, for example, obviously Fire Emblem Engage is coming out very soon as the time that I'm recording this video. We know that Kirby's coming out in February. We know that Bayonetta is in March. The Bayonetta Origins game is in March, and I'm actually looking forward to that game quite a bit now after playing that prologue or whatever on Bayonetta 3. It's actually really fun. We know about that, right? We do know about some other third-party games. We got stuff like Octopath Traveler 2, we got stuff like Atelier Ryza 3, we also have Mega Man Battle Network, and of course the big one, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in May. But after that, there's not really anything else known outside of Pikmin 4, which doesn't have a release date, and also Metroid Prime 4, which also doesn't have a release date for 2023. Now, Pikmin is just 2023, but we don't have an exact release date for those games, so there really isn't much known. Now, what we've heard is that obviously Nintendo is winding things down, and they're getting ready for the next system, and usually at the end of a system, you will see some of these games that are coming out, these remasters or re-releases at the end of the system's life. Now, obviously, Kirby, that's one of them. And I think that we could see another one here with this game, and maybe even more with Metroid Prime Remaster and stuff like that. So there could be a number of them, but these would be welcome, especially with Monolith Soft, Bandai Namco, Nintendo on the case with Baten Kaitos. That would absolutely be something that everyone, I think, in terms of RPG fans out there, would be at least interested in checking out and seeing what Monolith Soft has to offer, because all of their older IPs that they worked on pretty much are like lost in time. We don't have any way of playing those on modern systems at all. Like everything that they worked on, there really hasn't been much outside of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition with the Wii. Outside of that, everything else has just been like, all right, that's it. It's on the older systems. So this could open the Monolith Soft Pandora's box and really invite more from what they've done, because Monolith Soft didn't just get good or great when it came to Xenoblade. They were already incredible before Xenoblade. They were already awesome even before then. They've always been good, you know? So to me, this is just huge for what they need to do in the next step for RPG fans out there, for Monolith Soft fans, and I'm really hoping that it does happen. But we'll see what Nintendo's second half is looking like. In this article here, they did talk about how it's going to be potentially a summer game and that we could see it at a E3 Direct or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it is coming out in the summertime. I wouldn't be surprised if it's at a spring direct or a February end of winter Q1 type of direct. But this one does say remake, but once again, we just don't know how extensive that it is going to be or anything like that at this point. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean remake potentially, maybe even more with the Origins prequel as well? I really hope that it's something that they can work on, because Baten Kaitos definitely needs to come back, and I think that a lot of people would be very happy with this. But what do you guys think? Now, if you want to hear more about Monolith Soft and what I think they're going to be working on when it comes to their new IP, because they have multiple different developments, you know, they have multiple different locations. They got a lot of developers working on stuff. If you want to hear more about that, I did a big video on it not too long ago talking about their new IP that we could see for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I've also talked about various different games that I'd love to see Monolith Soft kind of come back and work on. That will be links in the description below for all of that content. Make sure you check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.